Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Hum Live at the 8 Aftershow podcast, where today we sat down with Ben Hardy of Fear the Sparrow to discuss music and life choices. Enjoy.
While they're getting set up in there, how you been, dude?
Hanging in there, man.
Yeah.
It was kind of like after Saturday. Sunday was kind of weird because usually I'm thinking of, all right, what do I got to do next? Do
you
I
had
have
a
any
busy-
more ideas? Do I have any more suggestions? Do I have any more of this and that? And it was kind of over. So I was kind of like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do today?
You did say that there was like an ensuing depression once it was all complete. Because you'd been in the studio, like you'd been going hard for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely hit on Sunday. Actually, I don't really remember. What did I do Sunday?
Did you have to reevaluate your life and what you're going to do with it now that you're on the other side
Was it
of all of your
raining?
projects?
Yeah, was it raining on Sunday
Probably,
too?
man.
Yeah.
It's spring, so
Man, I did some house stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. I tried to get
That's
caught
very
up on
anticlimactic.
it. And that's what's so depressing about it. It's like, back to real life and real life problems and real life chores.
Well, you know what? We get to go back and experience some of the magic today and
Cool.
relive and talk some more.
Cool. And we're doing a video, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. So hold on. This video? Yeah, the one we're talking about? Or
This one, and
we have prospects.
Yeah.
There are things being discussed behind the scenes.
There are.
And for today, let's see, where are we at? We're at May 13th.
Right.
It's spring is in full swing, and we are
It's
live.
a chilly spring today.
It is, but it comes and goes. It's Memphis,
True. We got bridges, that have cracks in them.
That's right. I forgot about that. How did I forget? It's because I don't cross the bridge every day. But yeah, we're stuck
It's a good
here,
thing.
right?
Yeah,
Or
we're
you
stuck
got to drive way around, right?
Yes, I guess to the next bridge, wherever that is. I guess that's a few miles down the street.
I-55.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're right here. So cheers.
Yeah, man.
Cheers to you, man.
Thanks, brother.
Cheers to you. Cheers to Fear the Sparrow. To the house, right? To the house.
Yeah.
And then to the mouth. Amazing. 4 roses, appropriate, I think, given the context that we're speaking about today.
Very appropriate.
Yeah, so we're here, Station 8, and we're talking with Ben Hardy from Fear the Sparrow. Ben,
Yeah.
how's it going?
It's awesome.
Yeah? Well, good to hear. I want to dive right in because we have a lot of things to cover and a lot of things to talk about, and I'm
Let's
really
go.
excited because from the first time I met you, you've just had such a passion about this entire project and everything that you've been working on. And just overall, just a really positive energy and just a forward momentum, which is after this last year, not something that is in abundance. So it's been really refreshing to see that. And I've actually, to be fair, I've seen it in a lot of musicians that we've worked with, but I've been really inspired in working with you and just seeing your passion and all that you put into this project. So I'm really excited to break that down. The people that are listening to this, I'm sure a lot of people know who you are. But I do think it's,
I don't know.
Well, if they don't,
I hope they like hear us.
yeah, well, I think it's appropriate to maybe go back and just kind of give like a general overview of everything and go into some details before we even get on the concept, because that's going to be a discussion.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the band. We have Ben Hardy. Who else do we have?
Well, we got Johnny Friedman, who plays drums. We've got Corbin Haynes, who is our lead guitar player, and Jody Robinson, who's our bass player.
All incredibly talented, as we saw during the performance.
Well,
You hear that, guys?
we fake it till we make it.
No, that's great. So correct me if I'm wrong. I want to go back and let's just kind of rewind to the start of Fear the Sparrow. I want to go back to when it began. I'm thinking 2018, right?
Actually, 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
so tell me about conceiving the band and how that came about.
Well, it started from my past band that I had called Starliner, and we
A lot of folks know who that is, yeah. Just in the Memphis scene.
Yeah, in the Memphis area. We kind of made some noise.
What was the reign of Starliner year wise?
Probably 02 through 04.
Okay.
Yeah, because we got hooked up with a guy named Pete Matthews over at Arnett, and that's when things kind of started to pick up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, the band ended. We all had different things going on. It just didn't make sense to do it anymore. And the record industry was falling apart at that time, and it just
The
seemed
internet.
yeah, seemed like a lost cause. We all kind of went our separate ways. So fast forward to about 2017. I got in contact with our old drummer, Evan Willens, and then our old lead guitar player, Daniel Cossey. And we were just like, hey, man, we left a lot of songs on the table that never got recorded. We have like some good stuff. Let's just go record it for fun. With David Cowell. And
Shout out Dave Cowell, Supernova Sound.
Supernova Sound. So we kind of made that happen. And, it was just supposed to be those 2 songs. And that was going to be it. But then I got that itch again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do another band. And this time I'm just going to keep it fun. Because Starliner became a business. And when that kind of happens, and we were so young at the time, it just kind of was like, we all just kind of butted heads. We were immature and stuff like that. So I was like,
did it kind of take the step into business when you started working at Ardent? And
yeah. So I was like, I'm going to do this and do it for fun. And now I just got to find some people. I'm going to call it Fear the Sparrow because I have this ridiculous sparrow tattoo on my arm that was supposed to be a sleeve, and it's not.
It's a lovely tattoo. Don't sell yourself
the
short.
Lone Bird, the Lone Ranger. So
do you identify with that at all?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
I can tell.
Yeah. I have a few tattoos, and they all mean something.
Yeah. Well, not everything has to, but I think it's important that if you do have a value or something that you can, artistically express in a tattoo, some things are worth carrying with you all the way to the end.
Yeah. There's one that I would like to take off, but
we won't talk about that one. Can we even see that one on? I don't even know if we're allowed to see that one.
It's across here. No secret.
Well, so I want to going back to the band. First single, Critical. Number 1, British alternative radio charts. Also voted top rock song on the Our Stage internet radio in March of 2019. Those are huge accomplishments. How did that feel?
Weird.
Did it come out of nowhere? Did you work for it, or like how did that even?
No, I didn't
happen?
even know that stuff exists. I just put Critical out there. Like this is kind of like before Fear the Sparrow actually got kicked off. And I kind of submitted it to some places. A couple of those internet radio shows is kind of where I hit first, and those 2 kind of took off, and I don't know what kind of real accomplishments those are, but it's kind of cool to hear.
Well, it's an accomplishment, I think, in its own right, because it was something that was important to you. You were back making music again, so you're putting it out. That's an accomplishment. End of sentence. But the fact that it got recognition across seas just makes it that much more interesting.
Yeah, that song. It's a good song. I wasn't really looking for that type of thing. It just happened
because again, that was what you avoided in Starliner.
For myself and my friends and stuff like that. It's kind of a nostalgic type of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess right after that, the next single was Panic, which was, I think, got up to number 11 on Indie Star Radio, top 21. That was April.
Yeah.
2019.
And that's actually a Starliner song that we just brought back.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so that was something that we recorded in like 2003. And in Fear the Sparrows using that song. So we put that out there. I needed something to kind of follow up Panic or Critical with.
Well, obviously it was received well.
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know. It's a bopper.
Yeah. So in this process, when you were writing this music and releasing these singles, were you kind of like finding your dynamic with the band and just the writing process, or what did that look like as you were kind of making all this happen? This is a pretty new, relatively speaking, a new endeavor, but it's been a lot that you've accomplished.
And we've gone through some people, in search of where we are today.
As in all things.
Yeah. But the writing style always kind of stayed the same. I write really in a couple of particular ways. I have a lot of.
Are you would you consider yourself the main writer of the music?
Yeah. Usually, what's cool about now though is that everybody's contributing, which is a blessing. It helps. It makes things not stale. And they push me a little bit more. So it's not like one mind trying to do one thing. It's
So you
4
kind of learned
minds.
like what your perimeter is and kind of how to push you a little bit further
Yeah,
within
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's pretty valuable.
So the songs now are a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more diverse, and coming from where we were when we first started.
So how has we have to get into it, because how can you not in this day and age? But how was the pandemic? How was being in coronavirus? And I don't know to what degree you personally or any of the other band members were affected, but one thing that absolutely was affected is the ability to just make music, play shows, release things, go out, do things.
Yeah.
It was gone.
So,
How's it been?
I mean, obviously it sucked. It sucked
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know a person that would have a good story about it. But what it did for me was I chose to kind of like take it upon. I wanted to learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought some like home recording gear. I was like,
Nice.
we can't practice. We can't do anything. So I'm going to learn how to just make some demos. And that's what I spent my time doing. And I'm okay at it. Okay enough to where we did put out like kind of 2 acoustic songs just over last summer, just to kind of test the waters a little bit and see how those.
Did you feel good about it?
They're good for what they are.
Fair enough.
It's kind of like practice.
Yeah.
I like the songs. I redid Panic in a lighter acoustic-y version of it, and that one did well.
Nice. So I have to say, I mean, having gone through this music and listened to it, and then going into and referencing the performance that happened here at Station 8, the first song, I mean, that's a pretty stark contrast as to what I was listening to when we first made contact and started talking about doing this thing.
Right.
So how did this new sound come about? I mean, where did it come from?
Probably just growth.
Well, I really like it. I mean, it does have elements, like especially towards the end of the first song, it almost has kind of the reverb of like the former sound, but it's entirely different too in the way it's presented and the way it feels. It's much more atmospheric and ambient in a sense, but also still delivers that feeling,
Right.
That you previously had, which I find really interesting that you're able to harness a new sound, but also cater to the old one.
Yeah. So that's the tricky part. I have a pretty vast, like influential section of my music or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really into like the ambient type stuff right now. Kind of like explosions in the sky. Lord Huron has a lot to do with that.
So these are influences.
Cigarettes After Sex.
Mm-hmm.
Another band that
I told you I listened to the album. That's
right.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that.
I like the mood. Like I spent so long trying to hide or keep the moodiness out of our songs, and just because like I just felt like people would relate to like the happier, poppier stuff, but now I'm just kind of like, man, I'm just gonna let this go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna do whatever comes out. And that's just what it's going to be. So now I'm letting that stuff back out.
Right.
I guess I'm the emo dad of Memphis.
Well, so this new music, this newer direction, do you feel like it has roots and kind of what's always inspired you musically, and this is just it taking a new form? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's
because
hard to come by.
Yeah, I don't know how people are going to take it because they're used to hearing like one style of a thing from us. So we're kind of just branching out. I was a little worried about how the guys would receive it, but they latched onto it like right away, and they're like, "Let's do this." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Speaking of, we're talking Johnny, the drummer. He seemed like he was really into it.
Yeah,
maybe he's just a great performer, but he was on it, and he seems really into just the direction the music is going as a whole.
Yeah, he was the main one I was worried about. Really, he's a little bit more harder to crack or convince. Mm-hmm. He's usually a skeptic about most things. So, but
I'm sure he'll hear this, but I have to say, I feel like by the end of our experience here, I had loosened him up just a little bit.
Oh, I think a lot
Just
of
a
things.
little
I think
bit.
a lot of things loosen him up a little bit. Yeah, he.
I really enjoyed talking to Johnny. Like, I had a great time with
He
him.
nailed it the other day. Yeah,
He
I'm
killed
proud
it,
of him, man.
He killed it.
Yeah, he played that part so well.
He did. He totally nailed it, and it was spot on. His harmonies were beautiful. He did a wonderful job. I was super impressed. It's not every day that you see a drummer just pull that out with he did it effortlessly. He even said, he was like, man, I'm usually, breaking a sweat here and there. He's like, but this time, man, it just came right out. I just flew right through it, and it was clear. That was how he felt. It came across that way.
Yeah, he was super nervous. Like rehearsals and stuff. Like he was, I don't know. I couldn't tell that he was kind of nervous, but
It's an internal being. That's okay.
And going from just pounding the hell out of drums to like playing super light, changing brushes and 2 brushes and, a stripped down kit.
Seamless.
Yeah, it was.
It was perfect.
Like I've learned never to doubt that guy on anything when it comes to music.
Yeah. Well, I was impressed. His whole family. I think his 2 children. I mean, they're all incredibly musically inclined. I think it's just in his blood, man.
Yeah, they're the.
I don't know if he can help
We
it.
call them the Friedman 5.
There's 5 of them.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
there's
incredible.
5 of them. The Friedman 5.
Well, so going back on the production side, working with Dave Cowell, working at Supernova, how was that experience? I mean, on the production level.
It's always fun. It's not work. It's not stressful. It's.
Dave knows how to have a good time. I worked with him in 2011, and we had a wonderful time making a great record. And it was, one of the best experiences of my life to come in and make something for the first time and have that relationship. And he's got that personality for days.
Yeah, he's
Some character,
and he's a musician.
he is. He's incredibly talented.
He's got the psychology to where if he picks up that don't feel that confident about something, he finds a way to trick you into it and you not know that you're actually doing that. He's like, see, I told you.
Now that you mention it, as a vocalist, I think all the people that I've worked with, I think he had that skill mastered. Now that you're actually bringing it up and put it into words, because we were doing some crazy stuff with vocals, and he was always so great to come in and just calm it down and make it happen and be comfortable.
Yeah, and he knows when to speak up. Like, hey, I'm not really digging that part, or I think you could do this. But he's cool enough to where like he'll leave it alone if it doesn't need to be worked out or if things are fine, he'll leave it alone. He's not trying to change your stuff,
right?
Like
support.
Some people I've worked
a good producer
kind of want to change your stuff and stuff. So
yeah,
no, it's he's just a cool dude to work with. It's more fun than anything. We BS a lot too, so we could probably.
There's some signatures on that
at
door
him
behind
right
us
now.
that would make anyone watching this blush from the man himself.
Yeah, we could have cut 4 or 5 songs the week that we were in there, but we only did 2, and then we got those done like really really quick, and then we just kind of just acted.
And that was which 2 did you get recorded?
What's that?
Which 2 did you get recorded this last time with
So
Dave?
Theft of Me.
Okay, so that's opening track,
and then Drunk and Dumb, which is the second track.
Yeah, second track. That's awesome. That's cool. So
it all worked out to where doing this production with you guys and recording those 2 songs, it all kind of it came together all at once, and it fit together.
Yeah, well, we're super happy to be a part of the process, and I think it's time that we start to unpack what we've actually been talking about and alluding to this whole time, and that is that you've put a tremendous amount of thought, effort, energy into showcasing and, I guess, executing the concept behind not only the music, but the visual elements that tie into it in order to express a story. Yeah. And I'm probably gonna dig a little bit. So if I get too deep, you just be like, "Hey, man,
no,
not now.
We're all good. We got this.
All right. Well, cheers. One more time. Yeah. So delicious. So let's get into it. So, tell me before we get into the details, where did this concept start? Where did it come into your mind? And how did it begin? With all this.
I have this kind of fascination with the time period of like the 20s and the 30s, and I've always had that. love the Al Capone stuff. I love the
Mhm.
gangster stuff. I love, you know, the romantic side of that time period. Things were so much different.
What we would call classy today, right?
Yeah, yeah, classy.
Something like that.
So it it really started from there. I have this weird, I don't know, thing like I've been there before. Like that's just like, man. I recently went on a trip to Chicago and did the
Oh,
whole
well.
gangster tour, and I was just like, I was loving it. I felt like I was like, I feel like I've been here before, but not type of thing.
Mhm.
So, um, and I've always I always liked when bands did like kind of like concept type things, and I've always kind of wanted to do that. So I just mixed the two together, and I was super nervous about pitching it to the band and then coming in here and pitching it to you guys because it was a pretty far-fetched. I thought it was a far-fetched idea. You guys provided a platform that I was looking for this, and I was like, well, it's now or never. It's
I really do feel your comment earlier. I feel like it was the perfect storm.
yeah,
I mean, it was a great time for you to be making new music and new sounds for the first time, and also finally, maybe to put it into words, like find the confidence to really put this concept out there in a palatable way. That's
Right.
not just like in the abstract of the mind, but comes across on film and on an album. And I think it worked out. I mean, it really did. I mean, it was a awesome performance in itself, but just the fact that if you take the words, just the fundamental meaning of everything and start to finish, it's explaining something. It's telling a story.
right.
It's not ambiguous. It's an experience.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of exaggerated truth in that story, a lot of like exaggerated personal truth.
So give me something. Give me
Well,
give
I
me
mean,
something that's derived from, like, give me, I don't know. Tell me something about it, the personal level.
so I'm a very reflective person. So I'll go and reflect on anything that has happened in the past, like, and then I self analyze it too. Like, what could I've done better? Did I
Mhm.
really handle that situation at 16?
It's a little late.
The best way,
Yeah.
Did I really need to be upset about that type things? And most of them revolves around girls and relationships and stuff like that, and
Passion, in other words.
yeah, and everybody to some degree has experienced love, heartbreak, tragedy,
Hmm.
and that's just what life is, or the crappy side of life.
Hmm.
Nobody really wants to hear like, hey, I'm happy all the time. It if it was that way, then
Isn't
you
that
wouldn't-
weird?
Yeah,
That we don't want
you
that?
wouldn't have shows that on TV now that are just kind of depressing, and you got murder shows, you got dramas, you've got suspense, and like all that stuff. So people kind of go that way. Yeah, and you got your happier stuff, but I mean, but you can only tell so much of a story when it's like happy all the time,
Yeah.
And I think too, you can kind of connect more with people when you kind of share those kind of like tragedies and loss and heartbreak and all that stuff.
It's something that I think people are more inclined to connect to because regardless of your life experience, you're just more sensitive.
Yeah,
No matter
And-
what your relationship is with it, it's going to be tender, typically.
right. And I'm a type of person where I keep a lot of this stuff inside and I don't really talk about it. But one avenue that I have is through this and
Mhm.
through music and stuff. And, I don't always divulge like specifically what our songs are about for two reasons. One is because I want the listener to kind of, come up with their own version or story or,
Mhm.
or however it relates to them. And then the second one is,
Do you feel like you've
why?
built, fair enough. Do you feel like you've built relationships with just your listeners and people that you've connected with throughout your journey in music through that? Just basically them hearing what you're putting out and connecting to it in their own way. Because that is, in essence, like a big part of the beauty of music, in my opinion, the
Yeah.
ability to hear something and derive your own purpose and meaning from it.
Yeah, that kind of happened with that song Critical. Like it started to happen there. You know, the song Panic that we released, I mean, that's straight up about anxiety. And everybody has it.
Appropriately named.
Yeah. Panic attacks and all that stuff. So it's people, I've gotten, you know, comments from people about that one. That Panic song means a lot to me because during that time, like my anxiety and panic attacks were like outrageous. But I kind of find a way to kind of like don't show it. So
Yeah. Are you still that way?
I can be. Yeah. I mean, I have, it's weird because I think most people see me as like, you know, happy, like extrovert type guy, but I'm really not.
I think I would safely classify you as that, but I also haven't known you for nearly as long. But it's also because you present it so confidently and so well. You know, you do, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, you know, you came in with a lot of positivity and a lot of passion, a lot of good energy, but maybe that's the result of your journey, is just knowing how to convert that into something, you know, all that you've been through and all that you've experienced into something like that. So when you do come in for a project, you're amped on it.
Yeah. And a lot of that too is just getting older and like I'm just accepting it more and just saying, you know, fuck it. Oh, can I say that?
You can say fuck it.
Okay. Like fuck it, whatever. You know, I've lived like harboring this stuff in for so long. Now I'm going to release it, and I'm going to release it through music. Yeah.
So has there been catharsis for you, just in like just relief coming from,
yeah,
you know, all the stuff you've been putting out?
A little bit. Like I know no one, like most people aren't gonna like. So Mickey, the girl that's playing the
shout out Mickey, Michaela Mickey,
yeah,
Anawalt, right?
Right.
Is that how you pronounce it? Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Mickey. Hey Mickey.
So her and I keep like. So she saw the performance or whatever. She was here during that, and she was like, I really like your words are kind of like all the stuff I'm going through in my life right now. She's like, you're like the narrator in my head.
That's a powerful statement for anyone to share, especially someone you know.
Yeah. And she was like, you know, we were talking today and she goes, what did she say? Something to the effect that she'll never really understand like where my words are coming from, because she's just playing the guessing game. Like, what's this about? What's this about?
I am too. That's why I'm asking. By the way, that's why I'm trying to pull you apart here.
Here's the like a lot of my songs, there'll be like a base topic, but then like I'll write a line that has something to do with my past, but then the next line won't have anything to do with me. It might be something that I see somebody else going through. And then I get a lot of ideas from like TV and stuff. Like,
well, there's a lot of, you know, media. I mean, it drives a lot of, it's just really a vessel for, you know, art, essentially. You know, everything that we film and put together, you know, it's inherently creates more creativity.
Art.
Yeah.
Life is art. And everything, life is one big drama.
Yeah.
From front to back, you know?
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
You're right. I try to live my life so that I don't have to describe it as dramatic, though. But maybe I do anyway.
Well, I mean,
we all have our moments.
Everybody has highs and lows. They'll have like good periods and then they'll have bad periods. I mean, everybody's got to experience, you know, the highs and lows of life. And we all have that in common. Like, as humanity, we all have that in common one way or another.
So is there something specific that you feel you're trying to convey through this, or do you think it's totally subjective? Like, maybe are you providing a context, maybe just an like a place for people to think about it? Yeah,
I think I'm laying the foundation.
Yeah, you got the noir vibe, you've got, you know, the visual, you have the words and like the speed. And actually, speaking of Mickey, she did a great job. She did of nailing all that.
She did. She came in and she was a little nervous, and once she calmed down a little bit, and she started having fun with it and started, you know, hitting home runs.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ending, you were involved in that. That was well executed.
Yeah, the ending. So you got to tune in for the ending, because it may lead to something else later on.
Okay. May lead.
May.
So it's actually, so that's a good point. If I'm not mistaken, there's some element of this performance that we're talking about here at Live at the 8 tied into your previous music video
Hollywood.
that released in April.
Yeah.
That was Hollywood.
Yeah.
So can you give me any details?
The ending of that video, Hollywood video,
So he takes her hand, he guides her through the door.
yeah, is actually the end of, well, there's some dialogue in this little concert film that we did
Okay.
at the end, and it refers to,
Oh, that's right. So people haven't seen it yet as they're listening to this, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. A little mystique for you.
right.
Okay.
So she says a little line, and she kind of whispers it in my ear, and she tells me to do something. So going back to the Hollywood video, at the very, very end of that video, I do that thing. But is it present or is it past? Or is there more to the story past that?
So we don't know when we get to find out.
You may get a really good idea during this concert film. But I will say this, it's not over.
Yeah. I think it would be totally inappropriate if you ended it right there. The story must continue.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably
It's
always,
like the
to be
end
fair,
of-
I'll probably always feel that way. If it finishes up, I'm probably going to always want more, but that's just,
So it's like the season finale of a show. So it kind of has a little cliffhanger.
yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, so do you think in the production of making this music and these visuals, the new avenue of music and everything that you've been going down, do you feel like you're able to maybe convey some things that you've never been able to in the past, or maybe open up like a different range, or maybe some things that you didn't really know that you wanted to put out there?
Well, I love the aesthetic that we were able to
It was really
achieve.
cool, man. It looks
and
great.
I think we're going to keep that around for a little while.
Mhm.
I think people are like, we haven't even released anything yet about this, except for stuff off of Instagram.
Yeah.
You guys have helped out in that, and the photos that Jen did are
Yeah,
absolutely,
they are great. The set pictures,
amazing.
man. It was like all of it, really. They look great.
Yeah.
More to come, by the way.
So that's piqued a lot of interest, and so we're going to keep it around for a little bit and see where it goes.
Well, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, talking about keeping it around for a little bit, I think that ties even into your live performance, that now that the world is kind of opening back up and becoming a thing again, you're planning a performance that's kind of surrounded around this.
Right.
Tell me about
Yeah.
it.
So July 10th
July 10th, mark your calendars.
at Growlers.
And see, Growlers,
In
we
Memphis.
just tonight, as we're recording this, not as we're releasing this, but as we're the podcast we did with Growlers with Tony Westmoreland and Mark is coming out, and they're talking about all the great stuff that they're doing for bands. Or I'm asking them about it because they're nice and humble, but I had to put them on the spot. But that's a great place to be and to be doing something on July 10th.
It is. And if people are listening to this and haven't heard the one with Mark and Tony, then they need to go back and listen to
Yeah,
that.
it was really cool. You even talked about all the venues and just like how Memphis is being laid out and what bands we can even play. It's really cool. And now you're a part of it.
Yeah, so it's going to take place at Growlers. We are going to kind of do a kind of rendition or a live version of this concert film. We may add a little bit more to it to kind of tell a little bit more of the story.
Okay. Are we gonna have like live performances from actors and actresses, or what? I mean, I'm just curious.
Well,
I mean, you kind of are that in your own right. To be
It's in
fair,
the-
when you're getting up in full wardrobe and
yeah. So the band's doing everything live.
oh yeah, yeah.
So
Like what you guys are gonna see in this video is gonna be a live experience pretty soon. Can you make me see in black and white? Can you do that yet? It's
we might have to
2021,
get
right?
those like black and white glasses out.
Okay.
You know.
right.
No, this will be in full color. It's okay. It's still in the planning stages. We have some big ideas that we need to find out if we're able to pull off first in there with kind of like props and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So anything goes right now. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I just like this concert film that we did with you guys. It's going to be a first. So there'll be a learning curve to it.
Yeah.
A little bit of trial and error, but it's definitely going to be interesting. You might see a ghost. You might not.
What does that mean? That's all we get? You might see a ghost, you might not. You heard it here first.
But see, a lot of people may not know or try to figure out, like, so Mickey's character, is she the spirit or am I the spirit?
Oh no, this is too much.
So you got to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, I'm going to be thinking about it.
Yeah. So it's written in a way that it could be both or one. But
there was some level of just like there's some ethereal nature about the whole thing that I couldn't quite thumb it. And that fact that you're saying this is maybe just a little bit of an idea.
I want to just keep the guessing going.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job.
And
I think I appreciate it.
But people need to keep, nothing's in chronological order. So this is kind of going to be all over the map.
It's like one of those movies that's like the best movie, but you don't know it until it's completely over. You know, you're like the whole time you're like, what? In the end, you're like, wow, that was a great movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what? Kind of like
Memento.
That.
You know, that was a heavy one.
Even, geez, now that it's on the tip of my tongue. It's got Samuel L. Jackson in it with what's that other actor's name? Wow, I'm drawing a blank here on the air. That's it.
There it is.
Fiction.
I'm honestly surprised you couldn't think of Pulp Fiction just now.
This is what happens when I'm like thinking of 12 different things and trying to hold on to another thought.
Yeah, I'm with you. I totally get that thing. It's like I don't know, Shutter Island's another one. You know, like there's definitely just a lot of great movies that are just, you know, we're talking about mind fucks.
Well, I've been accused of doing that with this whole project, so it's kind of messing with people's heads.
Many worse things to be accused of, you know.
Yeah. So,
well,
Mickey definitely accuses me of that. She's like, "So what's my character?"
Well, it's funny that she doesn't really know, but yeah, she executed it so well.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have, I guess with everything you've recorded, is there some sort of method to the madness in terms of how you're releasing the music?
That's something that's up for discussion right now. And actually we're going to be talking about that next week.
Okay. You have some great stuff coming out now with this, but
yeah,
people want to stream it, man.
Something is going to be coming out before the show, July 10th. So I don't know which song it's going to be, but there will be something else that comes out. We've kind of stockpiled some songs. We've got about 5 or 6 that need to be released.
Is this stuff that kind of fits the new vibe, or kind of a combination, or where does it sit on the spectrum?
So the 2 new songs that we did recently, Theft of Me and Drunken Dom, they fit this. The previous songs that we've been holding on to, they're a little bit more poppier. Well, I shouldn't say poppier. Well, yeah, they are. They're a little bit more energy, more energetic.
Okay.
So kind of like it's some older songs. You know, they get the people's heads moving a little bit and stuff. So
so how does music play into the adult life and the obligations of it all? I mean, like, where does it? Because I think of when you're talking about Starliner, you know, that was you described it as a business. And then thinking about like where you are now with music, I mean, you've got your life, you've got family, you've got all these things. Where does music fit into the equation these days, and how does it kind of change and impact your life?
You know, in Starliner days, we practice almost 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what we did.
It's a business. Yeah.
And that really kind of wore us out. We took a different approach with Fear the Sparrow. We're older enough now. We know how to play. Mm-hmm. We know how to work together. So we don't do the 5 day a week. We'll do what's necessary. Mm-hmm. If we have a project that's coming up, then we'll hit it hard and heavy. If there's nothing going on, then we'll back down. Rehearsals to like maybe once a week or twice a week. But technology has helped that a lot too. Like, we all have recording gear. We pass files back and forth. It's so easy. We don't even have to be in the same room. Like, hey, learn this or develop a part for this section. We'll glue it all together when we get together, and then we'll make adjustments, or if anybody else has any idea, we'll make those adjustments, and bam, there it
Yeah.
is.
Wow. Well, that's a good process though,
And
to
then
have that established.
as far as time goes, I mean, everybody in the band has, family and obligations and stuff, but it doesn't really interfere with anything. Everybody's like been so supportive. I probably have the most time out of everybody, but everybody else is like, so accommodating. Everything's accommodating.
Yeah. Well, you obviously do this because you love it and you're passionate about it.
It's fun. It makes life fun.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I mean, is there something that you feel like just personally you derive from playing the music and doing what you do in Fear the Sparrow? If you could put it into words.
It gives me a chance just to escape everything and put myself in a different place.
Yeah.
That's a world I created that I kind of like to go to.
So I think that would put you as definitely an introvert.
Yeah.
Creating an internal world and then going to live in it for a little while.
Exactly.
That's pretty special.
Yeah.
I relate, my friend. I'm right there with you.
That's why we get along.
That's right. But it's good too that we can also sit down and talk, as introverts.
Yeah.
Not everyone, is so inclined.
My real job, I have to talk to a bunch of people every day. So
Likewise.
So I mean, I've learned how to. I was a shy kid, man. Like I hid behind my mom and dad's leg for like the longest time. I just, even around family, I was just like super shy. Didn't have a whole lot of confidence like growing up, and so until sports, I realized that I was like really good at sports, so that kind of helped. And from there, I never wanted to try anything new. If it's out of my comfort zone, I didn't like to do it.
Right.
But now it's like with this project,
I love it. Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm not going to live forever. Why am I harboring all this stuff that I wanted to do in? If it sucks, oh well.
Yeah.
Who cares?
There's often more reasons not to do something than there is to do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's nothing more than just the work it takes to get it done in the first place, there's usually a reason that it's like, well, it's going to be something if I take it on. But it's also cool to have the freedom and confidence.
Right.
To step away from
and
that.
If you surround yourself with the right people that believe in your story and stuff like that, and then it just makes the whole process so much more rewarding. Like I was trying to explain to somebody the other day, I like doing the work all the way up to the final result's cool. Like it's cool. It's what it is. That's what you're trying to get to. But I enjoy the whole entire process from the beginning.
Were you always that way?
No. I think like in my younger years, like I wanted to get that end result, and that end result was only a few seconds of like, yes, I did it. And I didn't appreciate the work that came along getting up to that point. Now it's opposite. I enjoy doing the work.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of cool people and do a lot of really random things, and sit in a random studio and have podcasts and do all kinds of things you never thought you'd be doing.
Exactly.
And it's a lot of fun.
This is awesome.
There's a lot of value in it. I mean, I think
I didn't even know we were on a podcast. I thought we were just talking.
Good. I've done my job then. Well, is there anyone, you talk about support, is there anyone in your life that you feel deserves some special acknowledgement for the support and making all this happen? Because, man, you're working hard. I got to imagine that there's some patient people behind you making it all happen.
Yeah. I don't know. My biggest fans are still my parents.
Shout out mom and dad.
Yeah. I played one of the songs, Theft of Me, for my mom on Mother's Day. And,
dude, it's my favorite song in the performance.
She had tears in her eyes.
Oh, it's great.
She was like, where did this come from?
I tell mom I'm right there with her.
Yeah.
After I heard everything and then you came in like, yeah, that's what we're doing. I was just like, what? In a good way.
Yeah.
Of course.
She was like, because I went back to singing lessons with my singing teacher from long, long ago. I actually hung out with her last night.
Oh, cool.
She came in from Nashville. But working with her again has taught me to be a lot more expressive with certain words in the lyrics and stuff like that. So that really helped these two songs that we recorded with Dave, and ultimately we played live or in this concert film. And her getting me to that point to recognize what I'm doing is just took this thing to a different level.
Yeah.
Now I'm a way more confident. I'm like, okay, now I want to go back and redo the other songs.
It's funny. I think to some degree, as a musician, you'll probably always feel that way.
Yeah.
Of like every year, every 6 months, every 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, 1 week, even. It's just like, oh, now I can do that, and I could do this, and that little voice.
Right. So, I mean, my parents are always going to come first. They've been my biggest fans. They have let me do some dumb shit that they were probably like, oh, this is the dumbest thing ever, but I'll let you do it so you can figure it out on your own.
That's cool. They gave you the freedom though to explore that. Were you always musical? Did you always play music? When did you start?
12. My best
Pretty young.
friend, yeah, my best friend that I grew up with, he got a guitar. His parents got him a guitar, and he started taking lessons, and he came over with the guitar like one day, and he learned Smells Like Teen Spirit, because that was I'm dating myself, but Smells Like Teen Spirit had just come out. So, but I'm only 27 right now.
Let's see.
I'm only 27, but in 1992, when and I thought that was the coolest thing, and I was like, oh, I want a guitar. I started getting into music probably about 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was always into like the classic rock bands like Boston, anything that was like on Rock 103.
Who doesn't love Boston?
Yeah. All the hair metal bands. So I always had that interest. But then when my best friend got that guitar, I was like, I want a guitar. So I begged my parents to give me a guitar. And then they got me this old, nasty Kramer guitar. It was awful.
You still have it?
No. No, I couldn't get rid of that thing.
I was going to say, you sound relieved.
Yeah. So I locked myself in my room that summer. And I learned from him. And then I went and learned like every song off of Nevermind that whole summer.
Mm.
And that's how I learned how to play guitar.
Yeah. And it just went from there.
And then I was like,
singing.
That didn't take place until like probably 16 or 17.
Okay.
I was in a couple of bands at 16. Super nervous. Talk about anxiety. I did have to sing. I was in a ska punk band. Like that was my first band ever.
Oh, cool. That's neat.
Called the Fisticuffs here in Memphis. And I had to sing like one song, and I remember when I performed it, like I would turn my back to the crowd and sing it and pretend like they weren't there. And then I saw it on video and saw how ridiculous that looked. So that kind of like motivated me to be like, all right, I got to fix this. Like either I need to learn how to sing, or I just need to stick with guitar.
Yeah. It's some nerves. Can be.
Yeah, especially when you don't know how to sing, so you're trying to like really just yell.
Yeah.
Yell the words to make them sound good, and
just believe it when you yell it, man, with passion
right.
and vigor.
Right. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started. First band was at 16. I was in some say Memphis' first like second wave emo band called Her Way with my best friend who had the guitar and stuff. And
Shout out best friend.
That it's Luke Johnson.
Luke Johnson.
Yeah, he's up in Maryland now, living in Maryland.
Nice.
He's in the Navy. That band went on for about 2 years. That was cool. We played with every band that I loved at that point in time. Most of the shows took place at Barristers here in Memphis. That was a legendary place.
I was gonna say, honestly speaking, I don't think I know what it is.
Yeah, Barristers and the Antenna Club.
Okay.
Those are two historic, hole in the wall places to play that a lot of touring bands would come through here. That's my all-time favorite band is Jimmy Eat World, and how they became my favorite band was in '96. I was going to go see another band called Mineral, and Jimmy Eat World opened. I didn't know anything about them, and they played this song called Crush, or Secret Crush at the time. and it blew me away. And from that point, like Jimmy Orr was like my all time. Like I got to play with him a couple of times.
Oh, cool.
So
Cool.
I'm like, there's cool things like that took place in those venues, and learned a lot about music at that point. Just especially the underground scene, which I was really, really attracted to.
Sure.
Just the crusty punks and people that don't bathe. I wasn't one of them, but
you blended right
like,
in.
yeah. I tried. They're like, man, you smell good. I don't think you belong here.
Well, okay, I gotta ask. I think you've told me this, but I gotta pry where people can hear. Fear of the Sparrow, fear period, the Sparrow.
Yeah.
How did it happen? What is the period? Like, what is? Tell me the name. Like, just give me this. I thought the story was neat.
Okay, so I put the period in as kind of like a.
This is 2017 or 2018?
It was 2017.
Okay, so when you started.
So I put it in there in hopes that people would like ask questions about it.
Here I am.
Yeah. So why did you put a period there? And I don't know, it's just to get people to talk about it or ask questions. And really, we've been teasing for the last couple of years that fear is actually the name of the Sparrow. So it's like fear, the Sparrow.
Have you revealed that anywhere? Does anyone know that?
I don't think so.
Well, I like it. I'm going to take that as my little gem.
Yeah,
from
so
this.
Like, it could be the name of the bird. It could be. So,
well, I have a couple things that I want to ask before we wrap up. This is the Hum. This is Live at the 8, Station 8 produced, and you guys have been an integral part of it and moving it forward in a completely innovative and creative way, and that's appreciated. But more importantly than anything else, this is absolutely built from Memphis music.
yes.
And just the energy of Memphis. And, we've had R&B, we've had, like the darker music, we've had, For the Sparrows come in, we've had all these people just coming in and passing through and, making all different kinds of music, but the one common factor amongst all of them is being from Memphis.
Right.
And it's just interesting to see kind of how Memphis comes in and influences the artist, and it got excited, man. And it takes form, I guess. So I have to ask, being on a Memphis-based platform, regardless of where this goes in the future, if we do things outside of Memphis, whatever, being, from Memphis, a Memphis musician in a Memphis band, how has Memphis contributed, influenced, been a part of your journey musically, creatively?
Since the majority of it took place here, then probably I would say like 90% of it is Memphis related. Memphis, as everybody knows, has such a rich musical history, and I think I don't know, sometimes I feel that it gets kind of buried,
In
I
what way?
don't think people talk about it enough. Like,
Yeah.
especially people outside of Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I think, like, if I go to other cities and they ask, like, where are you from? Memphis, and people will talk, oh, barbecue. And I'm like, yeah, barbecue. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Kansas City has barbecue. There's Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
Everybody has barbecue. But
Well, I think people outside of the U.S., I think also Memphis gets a little bit better of a reputation of a rap than it does.
Yeah.
Even. People know, to some degree that Memphis is music.
right.
But you're right. I don't think that there's the same spotlight that was shown on Memphis music as it were when Elvis was doing his thing.
Right. And that's another thing that, like, I felt like it was just kind of fading away. It was like, a lot of people used to say, like, oh, that's where Elvis is from. I don't really hear that anymore. And it kind of Memphis,
The generation behind me, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be a different one.
yeah.
No bad things to say, but it's just a different way of life, a different frame of awareness. They've been seeing things through the eyes of an iPad since conception, really.
Right.
So it's just a different way of thinking about things, and that was a different time in history.
And the thing, this was a long time ago, but the thing that burned me up was when Cleveland was awarded the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame over Memphis.
Oh,
Like, I
wow.
never understood that. I'm like, somebody needs to explain that to me, because I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean,
As in all
who the
things, there
hell
must
came
be
from
politics.
Cleveland? Who the hell comes from Cleveland?
I don't know. Kid Cudi, I don't know if I would call that rock and roll though. Or
Well,
anything like
Machine
that.
Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
But, which he's cool, I guess, but he's got a hot girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to acknowledge. I mean,
No, Memphis history. I'm proud to be a part of it. There's so much interesting things that music wise come from Memphis. And I actually hope that after this pandemic officially goes away, that people will come back out, start seeing live music, come see some original bands. You know, support your cover bands, but let's get back to the original stuff, because that's really what makes the world go around.
yeah,
You know, finding something new.
pushing the dial forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good to see. I think people coming out of this, you know, talking about the pandemic, I think people, and I've probably said this before, but I think a lot of people are just really receptive to things in a new way. I think people are like wanting fellowship and wanting connection. Even the introverts of the world, they're wanting to kind of connect, you know, once again, I think, to the world around them. And, you know, these arbitrary competitions that we make amongst musicians and the scenes and things like that, I don't think that they're going to be as prevalent maybe as I'm optimistic, and I guess I'm saying that maybe that won't be as has such a firm grip over the different music scenes, and that people will come together. And, you know, that's kind of the ideology behind this platform, is just trying to bring so many people from so many different genres, but all from the same place, and putting it under the spotlight, because there are in Memphis, and to be fair, you know, there's a lot of things that we hear about that's not working. It's not going great, but there's a lot of things that are working and that are going great. And there's a lot of creative people. There's a lot of artists doing great work like yourself. I mean, there's a lot of things worth talking about.
There's a lot of great bands out there right now from Memphis that if they were probably somewhere else like LA or Nashville, they would probably be, you know, signed to something.
Yeah. It's weird how that works.
Yeah. But I don't know. Memphis, we always get skipped over for the major tours because we're in between Nashville and Little Rock, so we're like a third tier city, and we just kind of get the scraps, which kind of sucks. I'm like, Memphis is so much better than that.
Yeah, I think I'm optimistic. We have, you know, Growlers, we got the Watershed, we got the Amphitheater that's just got a bunch of money put back into it. You know, all the way up to the Forum and these large scale shows. Maybe with more life coming back into these.
I think there's some other venues that are in the works.
There are.
So.
There's a few, and I think I think that there's going to be places to facilitate these things in the first place. Whereas before, I know, a lot of development started in, I guess, 2016, and just putting, I think that wasn't too long before, even the Daisy stopped. I mean, there's been a lot of shifts and a lot of changes, but there are things coming.
Daisies, huh?
You and I both, my friend. You and I both. Not all great, but a lot of them were.
Most of them was
cool.
Great.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
Yeah.
A lot of shows, man.
We're gonna have to do another podcast about that one.
Yeah, that's an entirely separate discussion. And I mean, I know Nick even was around when there was a studio, like right, there.
Yeah, we were talking about
Chris
the other
Austin's,
day.
I think. Yeah.
Dave was a part of that, I think.
That's right. Yeah, I think that was when Dave was kind of getting his legs, and he moved on, did Noise Factory, now he's at Supernova. It's crazy. It's just everybody's got their journey, and Memphis has been such an interesting place, I think, to hold all of that. And regardless of whether it's seen by everybody or not, there is a lot of really incredible things that happen on a consistent basis.
You're back here now, so
hey, coming in strong, I hope. Definitely, I guess that's what I'm saying. I know Station 8, the crew, like you guys, I think everybody is in a good place and optimistically looking at the future in regards of what it could mean.
Absolutely. You guys have been great, accommodating. The hospitality here has been top notch. Thanks for making this vision a reality.
It's been fun, man. It's been a pleasure, really. It's been again, it makes it very easy to do something like this when someone comes in with as much passion and belief in what they're doing as what you brought. So that's appreciated. But as we wrap up, I have to reiterate, I have to say thank you for coming in and putting in this work, and thank you to the band for working so hard to make this something special and coming in and doing a great job. And just like full disclosure, we were really nervous about the drums. We hadn't done a live performance with drums, and we were just like shaking our base. We're like, please, like, let this sound great, and it totally does.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
It sounds good.
We're super content.
Yeah, I was nervous too. I'll be honest with you, because
we were. No shame now. We can say that now. We can say that now. The
Yeah.
air's clear.
Like I was starting to think like, all right, how am I going to do this without my band or my drummer?
Oh no. Yeah, I'm very glad that that's not the path we chose, but because it all worked out. But let's wrap it up. Let's where can anyone listening to this? So June 3rd at 8 p.m. is going to be the official premiere. So if you're hearing this, please go to our YouTube channel for Station 8 Productions and subscribe. Like if you would, if you want to, it's going to be great, but you can always wait to see it. Yeah. We have the Facebook event. We've got all type, and I know you've got it going wild on your social media. There's all types of ways to find this, but how can people connect with you if you're the Sparrow?
Any type of social media except for Tinder.
Important clarification.
Except
so good to go on Bumble.
That's a old joke, the inside joke. Twitter.
The fact that you clarified just means that you have a heavy presence on Bumble, right?
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Don't worry about it.
Is that for like silver foxes and cougars hang out?
Hey, I'm not here to discriminate. Who knows what it holds. It's not something that's part of my life, so it's all speculation.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
See if I find anybody I know on it. That's not supposed to be on it.
All right. So is that where we can find you? Anywhere else?
I'm not on there.
Streaming platforms?
Yes. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Fear the Sparrow. We even have a Snapchat now. I'm still learning how to work it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm getting lessons.
I can barely keep up with Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I need a secretary or something to help me with all this stuff.
Yeah, you do a great job.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music if you want to check out some of our tunes. You can email us. We'll always email you back. We're not some of those bands that ignore people talking to us. We like to talk to people behind a screen, so the introverts can have fun too.
We have our safeguard.
Yeah.
I've got my computer tan from 2020. How about you?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, listen, thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being a part of this. And
thanks for having me.
Look forward to doing more.
Let's do it.
All right, man.
Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to check out any of our other content, you can visit our website at station8productions.com or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Station8Productions. Thanks.